Hey, welcome everyone. Let's see if everything's working right. Just want to make sure that the audio is working. Every now and then that doesn't work. Hey, welcome everyone. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's working. So welcome everyone. I'm just I don't have any particular goals for this one. I've got a couple of things that I want to do. So if you want to watch, then you're welcome to watch. If you don't want to watch, then of course. I can't guarantee this will be particularly interesting, but a little bit of scripting. So I'm a network instructor, been a network engineer since the mid-aughts. But before that, I was doing a lot of server administration. So Solaris, SunOS, Linux, FreeBSD. And so I got pretty good at scripting, mostly in Perl. Excuse me. But these days, it's Python and some other stuff. And there's a couple of little things that I want to do to kind of clean some stuff up. So I've got this thing I call the Autobox. Where's my... There it is. So it's a set of instructions on how to build a Linux VM that only requires 4 virtual CPUs, 16 gigs of RAM, 60 gigs of storage. So most hypervisors, if you have a dedicated hypervisor, most people should be able to make something like that. It's a little bit hard to do on a laptop, but if you got a nice big beefy laptop, you could probably do it. But so if you're running on one of those, and if you got something that can make this, you've got a way you can play around and test network automation. It's got a full-blown EVP and VXLAN style topology, or you could do just a standard collapsed core. It runs the instructions show you how to install Arista containerized EOS, although there's other containerized operating systems you can run too. And it also installs something called VS Code Server, rather, which is basically VS Code running as a web app. So it's really handy. So I think I'm going to pull up PowerPoint. That's a good kind of quasi whiteboard here. I'll use this one. So the Autobox, you just run it on whatever hypervisor you want. Could be really anything. And then on top of that, we're going to run. Now we've got 2 different choices now. So it used to be just 1 choice, but I made it 2. Or you can run it whatever you want, but my instructions have 2 options. And that is, you can either run Alma Linux 10, which is a clone of Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10, or you can run Ubuntu 2404. Ubuntu 2404. Those are probably the most common Linux distros that I see. Alma Linux is part of the Enterprise Linux family, so that's Red Hat, Rocky Linux, CentOS Stream. It takes its cues from Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And then Ubuntu is Debian based. So the 2 competing visions in the Linux world. Doesn't really matter which one you pick. It's kind of more like which one are you more comfortable with. And then on top of that, we run some other applications like Container Lab. There's Ansible. And then another one is that sits on top of everything and gives us access to an IDE integrated development environment is Code Server, which is a really cool project. So it's just VS Code as a web app. And it works great. And the one problem, though, that I've run into, and I haven't really gotten around to fixing it until recently, is that if you go to if you want to look at, for example, an MD file, I get this error. And the error is could not register a service worker, failed to register a service worker, and it's because of the self-signed certificate. So this certificate's not accepted. So I want to come up with a way to generate a self-signed certificate that will get accepted by your browser. But there is a problem. Well, let's see. See if the solution is even easier than I thought it was. So this is the self-signed certificate. Now, most of the time when you make a certificate, so let's go ahead and do, save it on the desktop here. When you do a self-signed certificate, it doesn't, the current TLS PKI public key infrastructure doesn't support an IP address for a host name. So I'm going to try to install this, and I don't think this is going to work. Maybe it will. Sometimes I get surprised. So I'm going to put it into Trusted Root Certificate Authorities. So all I did is just took the self-signed certificate that this thing generated. Wait, I've already generated one for this. I just haven't accepted it. So this is just what'll happen if it works. So I hit refresh. It doesn't work, but then you have to close out the browser and you have to start it up again. So we'll just go back to that website. And then there you go. So yeah, so it was already doing some work on this. And because we have a self-signed certificate, if I want to do a preview, oops, didn't mean to do that. If I want to do a preview, I can actually see it now. So there's a couple things that don't work in VS Code as a web app if you don't do a trusted self-signed certificate. If you don't trust it somehow. So coming up with a script or something that can do that. I've seen some scripts around, but I want to come up with something that fits with my particular solution. Otherwise, you can see this. This is the raw markdown, which is kind of like a fancy simplified HTML. I'm drinking more tea. So some tea ASMR. So I need to come up with a way so that I can do that there. So I'm going to run up VS Code. So this is local VS Code. And I use this for editing local files sometimes. Let's see if I've got a folder for Project Nerd. Yeah, I do. I want to make sure I have all the things. So I'm going to pull. Okay, good. So we're all synced up. So this VS Code, this is the native VS Code. Oops. This VS Code right here, no, actually not this one. They look the same because they're the same thing. This VS Code right here is running locally on my Windows desktop. And then this VS Code is running on that Linux system. And I find it running on the Linux system is really handy because I've got all the things that I need to do. All right, how do I get rid of this? Close. Yeah, all right, whatever. I don't know what I did there. So I need to incorporate that scripting in there. So I actually did a blog post a long time ago, creating your own certificate authority. And where is it? Self-signed. It was like the first thing. I've fallen down the horror. Yeah, here it is. Data center overlords. So I use this as my diagram to show how certificates work. There's you, the client. You trust the certificate authority. Sometimes there's an intermediate certificate, and there's the certificate you created. So I use Star Trek as the method for teaching that one. So there's a bunch of these commands you can run. However, they have been deprecated a little bit because it doesn't work if you have an IP address. So the modern TLS systems don't work if you try to use an IP address for your host name. But there's an addition to the X509 or whatever where you can add a second, it's called SAN. I can't remember what SAN stands for. Subject alternative name. So we need to create a self-signed certificate using a subject alternative name. Now I did a bunch of work on this, and I thought I got it to work, and it wouldn't work, and it turns out I just didn't restart my browser. So you do have to restart the browser for this to work. Let's see. So trying to make a modern version of this. Yeah, it's alt names. Can I do all this on the command line? So just do one command. So I don't have to create a file. I don't want to have to create a file if I can avoid it. Yes, here we go. I want it all in one place. So I'm going to use this one for now. All right. Do I need to, yeah. So you need to run two commands, one to create the key and the certificate signing request. And then you need to do another command to actually sign their certificate. We're not going to do a certificate chain. So let's just get the commands out of the way. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to show you. I've got, here's my Proxmox. Proxmox. This guy right here. So Proxmox 2 or 9's out or coming out. And it's supposed to do some new networking stuff, some SDN stuff, which I was just talking about. I don't think we should use that term anymore, but I think it probably is applicable here. Excuse me. So I'm going to create a new VM from my template. So I don't need to use quite as much memory because I'm not going to run Container Lab on it. So I'm going to create a VM from this. Call it TLS create. I'll use Ubuntu. So because it's a clone, all the stuff's already set up in it. It's going to grab an IP address from DHCP. There we go. So I should. So I'm using automation here. IPA 188. That's weird. I thought I already had something that had 188. So let's go to 188. You're not 188, are you? Son of a... Why did you give out two My DCP server is so 188 and then 188. That's how the heck. Is the MAC address the same? 85 Alpha Bravo. So 85 Alpha Bravo. No, it's not the same MAC address. So how did it get the same? It's just the little things. Look at my wireless router. My wireless router is actually my giving out the DHCP. Network map. 65 leases. And it gave out 188. Oh, it shows it as a static. It's a B454. How do I redo Ubuntu? DHCP restart. I think it's in System D. System control restart networking. Let's see if that works. Well, that didn't work. Is that what I'm running? No, that's an old Ubuntu. Network D. Let's try that. System D. No, that worked. Why did you give out the same address twice? Is it because they have the same host name? How would that work? Maybe. Let's try that. Cat. Let's see. TLS. Cat. TLS hyphen create to Etsy host name. Sudo. All right, so Let's restart networking D. All right, I'll just reboot it. Still got the same IP address, 85 Alpha Bravo. Does it see it? No, it doesn't see it. Slurp. So this is 85 Alpha Bravo. So that's the wrong one. Beef. So yeah, 85 Alpha Bravo. All right, so I'm going to give this one 189. Try to reboot it. So I was talking with that's pretty fast to boot. $85 Alpha Bravo. $189. Oh, there we go. I was talking with people about systemd. So systemd is the init system in most Linux systems these days. It's been controversial. And there's a really good talk by this guy named Benno Rice, and he was a BSD developer, free BSD developer, and a system and maintainer and that kind of thing. And he had a great talk called The Tragedy of Systemd, and how it was mostly misunderstood and hated for basically the wrong reasons. I don't have any problem with systemd. I like it. People say it takes up too much responsibility. I don't really care about that. People say it's slow. This thing reboots real fast, and it's running systemd, so I don't much care. Okay, let's create. So right now I'm just trying to figure out why. My system here. My DHCP server is assigning the same IP address to multiple devices. And it only happens on the systems that are cloned on Ubuntu, but not on Alma. All right, so remove the IP address. Let's see if I can give it a new IP address. It keeps getting the old IP address. Don't know why. If I just remove that. I could just give it a manual IP address. This is really annoying. This is one of those things where you're like, you're not even what I'm trying to do, but I'm stuck fixing something unrelated. I could just punt on this, and then what I'll do is I'll just create an Alma template, because I think that's not causing a problem. What's my template? Yeah, I don't need 20 gigs. I just need 6 sockets. That's fine. So I'm going to call this TLS create 2. And I'll just shut this thing down. And then delete it. Remove. 148. So I've been using Procbox for about a year, and I really like it. It's probably the best of the replacements for homegrown ESXi. Apparently, they did re-release ESXi for free again. But at this point, it's too late. All right, let's go ahead and start this puppy up. So this is Alma 10. So this does take a little bit longer to boot up. Not a whole lot, but I love the colored. Okay, 119. So theoretically, I should be able to go now because the way I cloned it. Wait, was it 119 or 112? 112. No, that's 119. 112, 80, 80. There we go. So we got to change the color, themes, to dark. And then here's that error about the certificate authority. So this system does not have a certificate authority. Finally, we're getting back to what we're trying to do here. Is OpenSSL installed? It is. Okay, good. So we can make this a lot bigger. So I'm going to make a file called setup tls shell. All right, so we're going to run this. We'll do RSA 4096. I don't think we really need it that high, but can't hurt. Self key and it's going to make a full certificate or self-signed. No. I got to do this one. Okay. Let's try this command. Request new key, RSA 4096 SHA. Okay, 10 years, nodes, key layout. We'll make a new key. We'll call this self key, out self cert. Subject. You can put whatever you want in here. So this will be as code. And then we need the subject alternative name, DNS equals. Yeah, we need the IP part. And we need this local IP address, 192.168.1.1.12. So we may not need this. We just need this. So it would have, okay, there's a private key. So then the script needs to copy self-cert to config local config code server or ls local lib share code server, and that goes in here. So local share code server, and then it's localhost dot crt, and then copy self key local share code server localhost dot key. So we'll comment that out because we've already done that. All right, once we do that, then we restart the service. So that would be sudo system control. This is systemd. Restart code hyphen server at user. Restart. So I made a couple new soundboards.
I mean, cloud. They have it's databases and operating systems and memory and microprocessors and the internet. And all of a sudden, it's none of that. It's the cloud. It's the cloud.
So that's Larry Ellison freaking out about the term cloud, and I think about 2009. So I've got the script. So it restarted the service, which means I have to reload. And I still doesn't see it. But what I have to do now is I have to look at my certificate, see the details. And do I actually see the, yeah, so VS Code, that's what I created. Doesn't actually have the stuff in there. That's interesting. Doesn't have the, wonder if it got the extra things in there. Oh yeah, there it is. Certificate alternate name, IP address. Okay, so let's see if this works. I'm going to export this. And then I'm going to import it into my certificate. Let's see. I'll see if it automatically finds a good place for it. So it was and then I'll do a refresh here, and it doesn't work. But then what I have to do is I have to quit the browser and then start it up again. And then try that again. Was it 1.1.12? No, that didn't work. All right, so let's install the certificate somewhere else. Try that again. Put it in trusted root certificate. Let's see. Put it in personal. See if that actually does anything. Okay, was successful. Kill the browser. Start it up again. Hello. Oh yeah, that's right. There we go. All right, so that didn't work. Let's try to install it. The place I know it did work, which is Trusted Root Certificate Authorities. And refresh doesn't work, so let's go ahead and kill the browser. Yeah, go ahead and update. That's fine. And try that again. There we go. That worked. So it's got to go in that particular place. So we did it all in one line. Is there a way I can just pull the IP address? In my environment variables? Nope. Hostname -I. So that could work. Trying to remove human intervention out of this. So I could write a little shell script with awk. Split results into an array. Are there even arrays in shell scripts? There is. Because what I want to do is, so let's try this. Pull this over here. So I want to take the IP addresses out of here. Where the heck did the, oh, it's Docker. Yeah, so Docker, it's already, I don't care about it. We'll put it into the certificate, so it doesn't matter if I have some extra IP addresses in there. Maybe we should put some IPv6 in there too. Yeah, it doesn't show the IPv6 address. So that's a link local address. So, like, I could get to that address. Like, if I put this in my browser, it will work. Was it 80? 80? Yeah. What? How dare you? I just gave you an IPv6 address. How do you not? Into browser. How does that not work? Really? You have to put it in brackets? How did I not know this? I guess you have to put it in brackets. I did not know that. Oh yeah, I don't think it's answering it on. Okay, so yeah, we don't care about IPv6 for now. All right, so so first, IP addresses equals the output of hostname -I. So these are the tildes, not the tildes, the backticks. So backticks and so echo. Take care of that in a second. So okay, so just pull it into one line. We could try read. All right. There we go. Let's see if we can loop through an array. Loop through array shell. So it would be for item in IP array. So sometimes large language models are good. So we'll do, oof. All right, so I'm gonna have to loop through that. How am I going to do that? Echo item. So what I'm hoping it'll do, it'll just concatenate. It won't have a line break if it doesn't do a line break. Shit, I did a line break. Is there a way to do an echo, no line break? Because if I do, so the problem is like if I say echo, open SSL, and then I do this. And then I do this. And then I do this. I need to, basically I need to loop through this. I know how to do this in Python pretty quickly.
We know that.
Oops. Basically I need to loop through. Do echo shell without line break. Echo -n. Let's try that. Yep, that did it. I could just have them just give the IP address. What's your IP address? So now I've got that extra comma at the end. You know what? I'm just going to have them just, I could do a Python script. There is Python on the system, so that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, screw it. I'll just do Python. You are now a Python script. Shebang line. Nah, we don't need to do that. Never mind. We'll just do a shell script. Let's keep this as simple as possible. How to pass command line argument into a shell script. I don't want a bash script, I want a shell script. All right, that's fine. So IP equals %1. Then we'll run the command. Called test and test. Or IP not found. Line 14. Maybe that was weird. Line 2. There we go. I can't execute the binary file. Oh, duh. There we go. There you go. All right. All right. Do I need to keep an exec? I think I could just do. Yep. Okay. Then these are the next commands. Make this code server. So this will create a self-signed certificate, including the subject alt name. Then copy it. Then echo reloading code server process. Reload the page, this page in the browser. How do I make it color? Does it only work in Bash? No, it works there too. reset the terminal. Sudo system control restart code server at user. Can we do flashing? Blinking. Zero 0335. Is there blinking? Maybe there's no blinking. 7? Blinking. 2 is dim. Yeah, it doesn't blink. Blinking would seem very war gamesy to me. Okay. All right, we'll just do 7. Yeah, that'll work. I just need something to like basically say, hey, restart your freaking browser. Be consistent about my quotation marks. Oh, it didn't like that. There we go. Wonder why this terminal doesn't do flashing. I'm gonna try it over here. Let's see. Oh, that is hard to read. So try 5. Yeah, it doesn't flash. We'll do inverse. Okay, so we're ready to light this candle. And we'll clean everything up. It's green. Um, do green here. Yeah, so the certificate got erased. Oh wow, that really borked everything. Jeez. How the heck did that happen? It's a good thing I used my Tony123 password in this one. Else you would have seen it. Yeah, nothing works. All right, so maybe if I download the certificate, then I install this certificate, look for it, and kill the browser, and then restart the browser. There we go. All right, now it's fine. That was weird. I've never seen it break that way before. So we have a new script here. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it into this directory here, the Autobox directory. Set up tls.sh. There we go. And I will add it and commit it. And push them. All right, so that should, now we've got that script there. So if we go to GitHub, we should see it here, shut up TLS, there it is. And so my enable install SSH enable Ubuntu. So I need to pull this. Put it in use your local bin. Yep. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some more tea and hit the restroom.
That's the clown!
Okay, waiting for the tea to boil. All right, so part of the new setup script is I've got to have them download the TLS bit. well, bits, several bits. So I'll get the raw URL. And then I'll look into the Alma 10. Then echo downloading TLS setup script to user local bin, and then wget user local bin. Oh, that's the wrong one. I need the setup script. Setup TLS. wget. Will that work? Oh, how do you do that? Check that syntax. Dude, this works. Oh, permission denied, so it's going to be sudo. Oh, W. Could do curl. Oh, I need to do the raw. I need to raw dog this. Did not need to sudo that. So why didn't curl? Why did it not like that? Oh, what is sudo? Permission denied. Yeah, it doesn't want to do that. I'm on Alma. Why am I doing this over here? It's the same for both. But I do want wget. So go ahead and do that. So we don't need sudo. We just need to download it locally. Well, can I download it to temp? Maybe that's it. So temp. Yep, that worked. And copy temp. Or maybe I'll put it in a local bin. Yeah, I'll put it in a local bin. Wait, oh, that's right. I am on Alma. Maybe curl was the right call. Permission denied. Then I need to chmod plus X. Okay, so I think that'll do it. So I'll do curl. Run command. Do the same over here. All right, so that should be a good way to do that. So I will add these both. And then added TLS script install. Sync those changes. And I think I need to run through the installer. Okay, so what am I going to do here? All right, I'm gonna grab some more tea. I'll be right back. So what I need to do is I need to I need to create a new VM. So I'm going to create a VM here. And this is going to be a template. So this is going to be Ubuntu 10 template. It doesn't let me do underscores, which is kind of annoying. So this will be my that Ubuntu. Is that the one I want? 24.2, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do Alma first. Do Alma template. So disks will be, did 60 gigs. Do I want to do more? Make that a raw image. Kind of running out of space. I'll give it 6 CPUs and 16. What is it? 1024 times 16, 384, 16, 384. Oh yeah, for CPU, you, Alma right now, Proxmox right now defaults to x86 64 v2. The newer Linux operating systems don't boot that way. They won't boot into version 2 of x86. So they need some other extensions. So make sure, I use host, which is basically passes the entire CPU along to the VM instead of hiding some stuff. $142. Where'd it go? $148. Ubuntu template. Let's go ahead and start this. We'll do we're just going to do a base install of Ubuntu. Oh, sorry, Alma. Called it. Can you rename these? Can you freaking rename? Yeah, we can rename these. Yeah, so this is Alma 10 template. It's getting late. So we just go through the normal install. Then we'll go ahead and, yeah, we'll leave it locked out. So Tony Burke, Tony. This is my basic one. And network, we'll call it template. And we'll just go ahead and let it do DHCP. You can change that if you want. Software, we're just doing minimal because everything else will install. KDump, crash dumping. We don't want KDump. We'll just disable KDump. And we'll begin installation. These installs are pretty quick. There's probably better ways to do everything I'm doing here, but let's get to the job done.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Actually, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
So by creating this, so I've got a template, but it does all the installs that I normally do for the Autobox. So I've got 2 templates here. They're both Autobox templates, so I should probably rename them. So it's got all the stuff installed, but they're now both kind of out of date because I've got new stuff in my installation. I've also been playing around with the BSDs. Not been super impressed with them. Like NetBSD especially. I'll just shut this thing down. Stop it. Same thing for OpenBSD. Can run BTOP. I just stopped them all because I didn't really care about them. They're very bare bones in some ways. So a lot of the niceties that I've kind of grown accustomed to in the Linux world like get spoiled. Like the IP command. Like I used to kind of be annoyed that Linux changed from the... Okay, we can restart this. Changed from the ifconfig utilities, which were called netutils, and then they went to IP route, which is the IP command. It's actually, in my opinion, it's a better way to do it. Okay, so that's 183. So I need to run a command. I'm on Alma. Yeah, I should probably just run this one. Sudo dnf dash y update. Because I need to get at least the the base stuff updated. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Shut this down. And I'm going to change this to base template. So just the basic installation of that. And I'm going to convert this into a template. I'll show it down here. All right, so I'm going to clone this, and this will be Alma 10 Autobox test 1.2. This is Autobox 1.2. One point one was the addition of Ubuntu. Let's boot this bad boy up. Boot's pretty quick. Ubuntu boots quicker, but I mean, they're not too different. IPA. God, I love the colors. All right, 94. So now I want to do sudo dnf-y update. I was thinking about like virtual machines. You could run this all in a container. Although the Autobox needs to be a VM because we're running Container Lab. I guess you could run a container lab inside of a container, but I'd rather not do that. All right, so that is done, and then I run the installer script. And this is Alma. Oh yeah, I want to change the host name. So this is Alma Autobox v12 test. Oh, it doesn't like... Doesn't like underscores. Yeah, I don't care that there's a new driver. Leave me alone. Okay. So next up is, yeah, do that. So that's Ansible. There's a new version of Ansible coming out that might screw up a bunch of stuff. So Ansible Core 219, that's the one we got to worry about. So we're just testing this new script to see if it works with the TLS part. I've got an SSD in here. It's a SATA SSD. It did not download it. The NVMe SSD is going to be a lot faster, but I wonder how much that makes a big of a deal. Local. Let's set up TS. Why did I get a permission denied? User local bin setup TLS. Oh, that's this one, right? So I've got a redundancy in here, so I'll fix that. Yeah, this part. Don't need that. That's not in there. Okay. So let me add that. Commit. Commit. Sync. All right, so I should be able to run setup TLS. Okay, so reload the browser. Did I actually have it reload the browser? Did that what the code did? No, it needs to shoot. No, that's not where I need it. I need it in setup TLS. Shoot. Oh, it did. Okay. It did restart it. So I will restart the browser or refresh the browser. Oh, crap. I didn't do it the way that they were supposed to do it. All right. So all right, so this is the new system. Oh yeah, another thing I want to do is change it to workspace. So what I need to do now is to certificate details, code server, export, yes. Put it in trusted root. Close the browser. It's 94. Okay. All right, there it is. All right, so I've updated that. The other thing I wanted to do is to put a new default directory in. Call it workspace. So how do I get it to use workspace as its default? Let's see. Open folder. Config, code server. Workspace query parameter. Should probably do something with the shell as well. All right, it's been 2 hours, so I think I'm gonna go. I'll call this a night. Thank you for watching, everyone. But I'm getting tired, and I'm gonna call it for tonight.